Steve and I are getting ready to change the Serpentine belt in a 2013 Volkswagen GTI. We're going to show you how it's done so you can do it when you drive it. Let's go.
So the belt goes down around the alternator, the compressor, and then it goes down around the crank, up around the idler pulley, and then back to the alternator. So I've got a 17 millimeter socket here with a long ratchet, and we're going to crack we're going to get on the tensioner here, and you kind of need something with some good leverage to really give this thing a good pull. And we're going to take the belt off from the alternator, the top side here, and then we're going to let this tensioner go. I'm getting the belt off from the idler and around the crank, and I have to put the belt sideways to get it to pull around. It's that tight. Okay, so we're going to get our new belt. Get the right belt, and for this one we got a Gates number right here, and the belt was like 24 bucks, so it's nice.
What we're going to do is I'll put a link in the description of the video over to the belt on Amazon so you can pluck it out of there if you want to.
And I got to get the belt going sideways like this to get by the intercool to go around the crankshaft.
Okay.
So we're going to slip this down now.
So you're going to hook the pulley on the intercooler first?
It's going to go side to the side of it. Okay. So I'm going to the crankshaft first, but you have to keep the belt sideways because it doesn't fit down in between the intercooler. So you got to push it in the thin way.
Okay.
Just to get it around the crank.
Yeah, so that's how we're going at it. It's that pulley down in there, so you've got to slip it around that
crankshaft.
Yeah, the crankshaft pulley.
And the intercooler pipe is in the way
for
the turbo there, so I have to try and wedge it down in there. So I'm pushing that down into there now. It's tough to see in there. So around the first part of it, around the pulley. So now we're going down to the compressor, and the belt is going to go down. All right. So the last thing we're going to put it on is the alternator, because that's what worked out for us. So we're going to slide it around the idler pulley right now and get it off the alternator. So we've got it around Got to make sure it's on that crankshaft good.
Yep.
And it's all by feel down here. So I've got it back in place. It's around the compressor, and I'm going to put the ratchet back down here.
So what you're doing now is you're releasing the belt tensioner, right?
Yeah, and have to get a little bit of a difference. We're going to have to pull on this thing pretty good to get it over the alternator.
Yep.
All right, now I'm getting enough.
Yep, I think you're getting it. It's just a little tight, that's all.
Yeah. Okay.
There you go.
Now we're going to get it back onto the compressor pulley, right?
Yep.
All right, so let's look down with the light. We got it around the compressor pulley. We got it around the idler, the alternator, and then we're looking at the crankshaft. And by feel, I have to get my hand down there, and okay, it's all around the crank. So it's not a bad belt to change. It's just a tight.
That's the routing of it, guys.
Yeah.
You can see, there you go. There's the crank, there's the belt tensioner, around the alternator, and down under the air compressor?
Yeah, no, there's
AC compressor.
The AC compressor, yeah. So alternator, AC compressor, down around the crank, back up to the idler, and then up to the alternator. And we had to get it on the alternator last.
Yeah.
Just clearance wise. And the only tight spot was getting it by that charge air pipe to get the belt sideways. So the belt was running like this, but you have to put it sideways to squeak it by there and then turn it. And it's all by feel back there, you can't see it. So we're going to fire it up and make sure everything's good. Okay, everything's running nice and smooth, everything's in order, and we're all good. And remember guys, when you get the belt off, you always want to spin your pulleys to make sure everything feels smooth.
Yep.